Good morning and welcome to this morning's episode of the Amateur in the Morning. I am your host, the Forex Amateur. It is the 18th of November. Yes, that's right. It's the 18th of November. So, what does that mean? That means that we have just under 4 weeks before it's Christmas. That means that we have just under 3 weeks before the festive season officially begins. What have you done this year to ensure that you've achieved the goals that you have set for yourself? I think it's very important when we get towards the festive season, when we get towards the end of the year, to reflect on our accomplishments for the year. Now, when I say reflect on our accomplishments, I'm not talking about reflecting from a point where you come to a point where you're starting to regret things and starting to beat yourself up for not doing things the way that you wanted to do them this year. Because the God's honest truth is this year was a very difficult year for most of us, right? And it's just a matter of understanding that whatever you did not achieve was not your fault, right? But whatever you do with the time that you have left is completely within your control. So I think it's very important in the next 3 weeks, in the next 4 weeks, for you to ensure that you dedicate as much time as possible to achieving at least one or two things that you would have loved to achieve this year. Also, very important, set small goals, right? I think one of the biggest challenges in the human mind is the fact that we enjoy that sense of dopamine that we get from achievement, right? And when you set small goals, you are able to enjoy that feeling every single day. Set small goals, make your bed, have 8 liters of water, take a 15-minute walk. All of those little small goals that you can set for yourself give you that sense of accomplishment. And the more you feel that sense of accomplishment, the more it's going to add to you wanting to do things that add to your benefit. Right. So I think that's very, very important. So set small goals, ensure that you work towards them every single day, dedicate a few hours a day to your upskilling, to growing your skills, to growing your knowledge, and ensure that when you go into the new year, you give yourself every single bit of advantage that you need to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. Remember, 2020 is not the last year of your life. 2021 is not the last year of your life, but every single day that you work gets you closer to what you want to achieve. That's my little bit of motivation for this morning, just a bit of an amateur thought. Let's get straight into the episode. So before I get into the episode, let's talk about my little disclaimer. Remember, I am not qualified to provide investment, financial, or even trading advice. That's the truth. I'm not qualified to do that. But everything I speak about on these episodes is purely my own opinion, right? I do not suggest any specific trade or action. Any trades that I take is trades that I'm taking with cash that I'm willing to lose. So ensure that you understand this, and any decisions you make are based on analysis that you do and cash that you are willing to risk. Because the truth is, you could lose your entire investment, right? So let's talk about the synthetic indices market. I actually haven't even looked at NASDAQ or the dollar index this morning, but we're actually going to look at it on here once we've had a look at the synthetic indices. Let's start with a volatility 25-1S, since that's the first chart that I've got on here. Um, as I as I'm currently thinking at the moment, right, I just want to emphasize something I think I did touch on yesterday as well, that we would most likely see volatility 25-1S come a bit deeper into this blue zone that I had highlighted, right? Now, my strategy at the moment tells me to look for buys, right? It tells me to look for buys, but I'm not taking any buys at the moment because this is currently a sell market. Everything that I see on here is a sell market. It's just the side of me that tells me that I want to get a better entry, that tells me to look for buys. But when I point out, when I look at this here, this is a good level pushed down to the downside, and this is a nice pullback into around these areas here to push this market further down, right? So overall, this market is sell bias. But just looking at the weekly time frame, I've identified this blue little zone in here that I'm expecting price to most likely reject from this level and push slightly higher. Now that can happen, it can't happen. It's completely upon price what it wants to do, right? But for me at the moment, I am sitting on my hands. based on what I am seeing on this chart at the moment, it is a sell market, but I'm not comfortable taking sells. It's just the way that I work, right? But what's very probable on this market is that we will see it push down into this pink zone that we've got over here. And perhaps off here is where it's going to bounce and push higher, right? But because I am in between minds at the moment, I'm not going to form any specific opinion on this market. And I'm also not going to commit to any specific trade. Hence, I'm currently sitting out of it. But it does look like a very beautiful sell according to everything that I look at for this market to get down in there. And perhaps maybe the buy will come off here, pushing it back up into that area. That is very probable at the moment. So let's see what it does. Once it breaks below this zone, if it does, then most likely I will be looking to participate in sells to the downside. Or if it respects this level and then pushes higher, then I will wait for it to get into that area. And that is when I will take sells to the downside. So it's just a matter of what it wants to do in this blue zone that it is currently in, right? Let's move on to volatility 50. Now, yesterday on volatility 50, I did highlight this level in here, right? And I did say that this was a level where I was looking to take sells down into this yellow zone for me to take buys all the way back into the upside. As you can see, that is playing out really well. So if I were to talk about this, I would say I'm still looking for sells to the downside, right? All the way down into this pink, this yellow zone. Doesn't necessarily have to get down into the yellow zone, but once it hits this gray zone that I've highlighted here and this weekly trend line that I have been speaking about in here as well, then I will switch my bias to looking for buys. But currently, I am still short-term sell bias on this market. Let's look at the 4-hour chart to see if there's anything I can speak about on here. So looking at the 4-hour chart, my very first take profit area is going to be around these levels in here, right? Because we can see this is a key level, right? So as price comes deeper into this level, I'll be looking to take off some profits. And once it breaks down below this level, then most likely I'll move my stop loss to break even, and then I'll be looking to hold this trade for as long as possible. But as it stands right now, I'm still very happy with the way this market is moving. We might see a pullback into around these levels today to come and retest the structure that was broken before we see this market continue trading to the downside. Another expectation that you could expect in this market is a bit of a downward facing channel forming in this area here, right? Which would complement everything else that I'm looking at. Actually, I would expect it to form like that. Not really so close, but something to that effect, right? A bit of a downward channel forming in here, right? And once that forms, then we'll expect that obviously that breakout to the upside from there. First targets will be here at this gray zone. Let's move on from volatility 50 and let's talk about volatility 75. Now, volatility 75 is really playing games at the moment, right? But my overall analysis on this market is that it's still going to reach down into at least first target will be at this level, right? And second target's down here. So I'm still thinking my bias is still that it will push down that into that level. My thoughts as to why it is playing around here is because it is on a key level on the weekly chart, which I have been speaking about for quite a while as well, is if you look at right in here, you'll see this key level right here, right? So this is a very key level of resistance. Price broke above it, became a key level of support, broke below it, resisted, broke above it, support. So this is a very strong level that price is currently in. So we would expect some consolidation. And when price is sitting in levels like this, I really don't take trades in those areas, right? But at the moment, looking at this, we can see that price is currently breaking structure, right, to the downside. Maybe once we get a close on below here, then I'll look for a pull. Why am I using this? Then I'll look for a pullback, right? And maybe want to go lower or expect price to respect this level here, right? And try to push higher because as you might have just noticed on the weekly time frame, I was looking for buys at around this area here. Right, cool. Let's move on from that and let's talk about volatility 10. Now on volatility 10, I am currently holding sells again. Yeah, yes, that's right. I got in on sells up in here last night, right? And I am looking to take this market back down into this low in here. right? So very simple. I am looking at that. Why am I looking at that? Because I'm expecting a possible retracement, as I've been saying for the past couple of weeks. So I have not sorry, past couple of days. Why am I saying couple of weeks? Past couple of days, looking at this area here is where I have been expecting the market to come back and retest a bit deeper into this level before pushing up. So I would love to see something like that happen. I am currently holding sales in profits on my accounts, and I am looking to take this market down into that level. Let's look at the 4-hour chart and let's see if we can see anything on here. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see that price did form a really strong level right here, gave us a fake breakout to the upside here, right? Big breakout to the upside here, and then it pulled back into structure, and it's now breaking structure to the downside, right? So that's telling us that there is a bearish presence in this market. So we would be looking at first targets at around this area in here, and obviously final take profits targets at this level. Even though I'm expecting price to come slightly below this level, I will be looking to get out directly at that level right there, directly right here, right? That would be where I'd be looking to get out. Cool. So this is looking very clean at the moment. I'll be looking at this very closely for the remainder of the day to see if I can catch any re-entries. But at the moment, this is looking like a very beautiful setup. And, you know, I'm going to look to capitalize and scale in on this because I haven't been able to trade Big 10 as much as I would like to. You know, I caught some really nice sells off the tops here, but I didn't get to my take profit target. So I didn't end up taking profits the way I wanted to. I did close off portions of my positions, but it's not, I didn't get that feeling of getting take profits, right? So I'll be looking to see what we can do here. And when we get down, obviously, like I have been saying, is that I'm overall buy bias on this market. So I'll be looking to take it up, all the way up, right? All the way up to, I should have a zone marked up here. Yeah, there it is, all the way up to this gray zone on weekly. Cool. So let's move on to, oh, I think I've actually covered all the charts on the synthetic indices. Let's go over to the NASDAQ and the dollar index futures. All right, so let's talk about the dollar index first. Oh, wow, this played out beautifully. All right, cool. So looking at this level right here, I spoke about this level yesterday, right? I did say that we can expect a retest into this level and expect the market to push down from that level, right? Now you can see that yesterday's candle came right into the level that I spoke about, right? Right into that level, and it's now pushing to the downside. I did tell you guys that I was expecting to see dollar index reach this level in here, and then finally this yellow zone that I've got marked on the bottom in here. So you can see that is currently playing out very well. I'm not really going to change anything from what I've said yesterday. So I'm going to stick to that analysis that I've got on here, and we're still chasing this yellow zone that we've got over here to the downside, right? Cool. Let's move on to the NASDAQ. And even this actually played out really nicely as well, right? So I did say yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, I stand to be corrected, that we should see Nasdaq coming to do maybe a minor retest into this level in here before it continues going to the upside, right? So overall for today, I am still looking at it from that perspective. I think I'm actually going to start using TradingView to do these views because I really don't like the way the charts look on MT4. They look like shit, absolutely. Like, god damn. So looking at this, I am still looking at, you know, that bounce in that area, right? So this bounce in here, this bounce right here, this level holding as a possible level of support, and then pushing this market higher to come and retest back into this level in here, and most likely break above these highs. Now, I did post an analysis on my IG on the monthly chart for price to revisit this high, and as you can see, price got really close to it, but I don't believe we're done. I think we're going to do a bit of a retrace, and then we're going to continue back up, right? Because remember, we're still at mid-month at the moment, so price will most likely do a retest, right? Correction, if you want to call it that, right before it continues back to the upside to come and grab above this high. Cool. So that's it from my side. Not really much more that I can share. Other than that, remember, as I always say, the purpose of these episodes is not to give you trade signals, is not to give you trade ideas, is not to give you, specific trade actions. The purpose of this is firstly to educate you on how I go about identifying my bias, firstly, and secondly, to assist you in identifying your bias, right? So that's the purpose of this. It's not to give you any sort of trade specific signals. So let's end it on that note. So it has been a pleasure, as always, to share with you guys. Until next time, I am wishing you a blessed and a profitable trading day. I'll catch up with you guys again tomorrow, same time, same place.